Hi everyone, it's
Hello.
Adrian from the Pageant Project. I'm here with Ashleigh Wild, who's Miss Global England. If you could, as usual, just let us know the audio is working okay. So let us know if you can hear me, and I'll get Ashleigh to introduce herself, and then let us know if you can hear Ashleigh as well. So Ashleigh, welcome to the show. How are you going?
Okay, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, Ashleigh, we were just talking about what you've got going on in the background. So why don't we, I always ask people the easy question first, which is to give us an idea as to your pageant history. So what you competed in, why you got started, etc. And I mean, basically, it looks like if you tell us everything that's on your wall, that might be it.
This is like
You
my
got a prop there.
wall.
So how did you get started in pageantry?
That is a good question. It was back in 2013, so around 6 years ago. I was just generally shopping with my friend in town, and a scout came up to me and they said, have you ever think of doing pageants? And I was like, what is a pageant? I had no idea at all. Honestly, no idea. And anyway, they explained it to me and I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. Like, of course, that's fantastic. So that was for Junior Miss Wild Coast, which is this sash here. That was the first ever pageant I'd ever competed in. So Junior Miss Wild Coast is a junior title that is, it's organised by the same organisation as Miss England. So it's the junior version of the Misses, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yep. So 2013 was the first year that they did the juniors. So I was the first title holder of Junior Miss Wild Coast, which obviously was amazing.
Oh, wow.
And to go in, never doing a pageant before, and going away with the crown and sash was incredible. Like I said, I genuinely had no idea what a pageant was. You've seen it on like the televisions and stuff, but I just had no idea what was involved. So that was my first ever pageant in 2013, and then I went prom dress shopping at the dress studio with my mum, which obviously is where Holly Holly owns that, and that's where the pageant girl is based. So when I was shopping for my prom dress, I actually met Holly then, which was again back in 2013, so, ages ago. And we got talking and she said, have you ever done pageants? And I said, oh, well, I'm currently Junior Miss Wild Coast. I've never had any other experience of pageants before. And she just kind of said, well, I think you'd be great for Miss Teen Great Britain. And she gave me a leaflet and I was like, oh, okay. So I took it back. With my mum, was just thinking about it. But at the time I had braces and I was really, really conscious about competing whilst I had braces. And I remember entering in 2000. I remember entering in 2015 and then actually not going through with my application because I was like, no, I don't want to do it whilst I've got braces. I'm going to wait. Not that it would have been a problem, but it's just something that you're insecure about, aren't you? Nowadays braces are so common, it probably wouldn't be the same. Whereas back however many, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, it was a lot more. Not a lot of people had braces then. So anyway, that was that, and then the year after came, and that's when I actually entered Miss Teen Great Britain. So that was my second pageant, and again, I was lucky enough to walk away with the crown and sash. Which again was a massive achievement for me, and it was amazing because it was one step up. Obviously, Junior Miss Wild Coast, it was more fun. It was more just, I'm doing it for a laugh, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just going to do it myself. Whereas Miss Teen Great Britain, I'd researched the ethos behind it. Obviously, I'd researched Holly's, pageant girl company, and I was like, you know what, I really want to be involved in this organisation. And I kind of went to Miss Teen Great Britain also to enjoy it because it's such a fun pageant, but also like a game face on, so to speak, because I really wanted to win this time. It wasn't just to do it just for
fun. It was more serious.
Because I fell in love with the ethos of it, and I loved it. I loved everything it stood for, and I was just like, that's me, and I really want it. Worked really hard for it. Was lucky enough to be picked by the judges. And that was my year in 2016. So I was Miss Teen Great Britain in 2016. And then I handed over in 2017, and then I had a little bit of a break. I went to uni, finished uni this year, graduated, and that's when I entered the power pageant. So that was in June this year, which was a really stressful time because, as Holly will vouch for me, I am an absolute nightmare when it comes to worrying. And
right.
I had my final year exams, my final law exams.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Around the same time of the pageant. And I was like, oh, this is just my luck. Like, it's just obvious this was going to happen. But anyway, Holly was like, it's okay, you know, just do you, and, you know, just, you know, put your education first, which, you know, as I always would do anyway. I've always put my education first. I've always been very aware that I'm very lucky to have the education that I have. So I've always prioritised that in front of everything. It's the way I've been brought up. It's the way, it's just the way that you know, pageants are a hobby that I love, but at the same time, my education would, you know, put me forward for the rest of my life.
Of course.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on my exams, but I still want to do this because in my head, I basically want to join the police force. And because I wanted to win Miss Grand, I knew that I would then need to be allowed 3 weeks off to go to internationals if I was to be lucky enough to win.
Right.
And I know that once I joined the police force, it would be extremely difficult for me to get that 3 weeks off to go. So this year, I kind of viewed it as the last year that I could do something like this, because I thought in my head, I can't guarantee the time off.
That you can get the time off.
Yeah. So it was kind of all or nothing for me, really. Again, like I said before, Holly was really, really supportive. She allowed me to... basically, the power pageant was split into 2 days, and the competition was on the second day. And on the first day, it was more like the fitness boot camp and just registration and things like that. It just fun things just to get to know the girls. And because I had basically the power pageant was on the Sunday, and I had an exam on the Tuesday, so like a full weekend of pageants, and then I'm like thrown into my law exam. So I was like, oh my goodness, how many things? But Holly was really, really understanding. And she said, because the fitness round isn't compulsory, you can miss the morning of that and then obviously come for what you need to be there for, so to speak. Which I was gutted about, because I'm sure you've seen on my Instagram, I'm obsessed with fitness.
Yeah,
and
I've seen.
When I applied for the power pageant, I was really, really looking forward to that, because I was like, right, I want to do really well in it, and I really want to give it my all, because I'm like, that's me. So yeah, I was gutted that I had to revise that day and not do the fitness round. But I joined the girls later on in the evening with the afternoon tea, met all the girls then, which was great. And then obviously continued with the actual competition on the Sunday. So I was lucky enough to win the title that I wanted, Miss Grand England, which again was a dream come true. Since being part of Holly's Pageant Girl organisation, and she's been doing the Power Pageant, I've kind of looked into, future pageants, what I'd want to go into, and Grand has always been one that I was really passionate about, the ethos of Stop the War and Violence, and I just felt like, again, that was me. That was something that I can really relate to. And then obviously we won, which was amazing. And then obviously the problem with Venezuela happened. Yeah. And we had to make the decision of putting our safety first, which was a really, really difficult decision to make with me, Freya and Emma, and obviously Holly as well. I know you probably going to ask me about it later on, but I thought I may as well just touch on it now. Now you've asked me for my history. It was devastating, because, like I said, it's something that, not just me, but Freya and Emma had wanted, and we'd worked towards that. So then to obviously be put with the ultimatum of, do we go with the risk of our safety? Yeah. Or step down and not go? And it was hard. It was really hard. And I feel daft for getting so affected by it. But at the end of the day, it was something that we'd dedicated months to, and that's what we wanted to do. So obviously we'd met with Holly, Freya and Emma we'd all met. I think it was, what are we on? I think it was in July, I want to say, or August. We had a little meeting at the dress studio, weighed up our options, and we were basically hoping that the host country would change. That was what we were hoping, really. Is we'd spoken to third parties, government officials, numerous different people to get opinions on, basically, and they all said, do not go under any circumstances because you can't guarantee. So you were a bit like, okay, right, not what we were hoping for. So we went to the press conference that happened because we were hoping that some answers would be given, whether how our security would be, how our safety would be secured, and whether it would change. But none of the questions that Holly had sent over were asked, or they were which is what Freya said in our interview as well, that there were questions and they weren't really answered. We were really, really disappointed at the end of the day because, we were really excited to go, and we thought that we were owed those answers. Yeah. In the sense of if we're then going to go.
Of course, if you're going to go over and compete, the number one thing is that you can be safe, obviously.
I understand, I slightly understand Noat's idea behind going, in the sense that, if it'll bring tourism, it'll try and boost the economy again, and it'll try and help the Venezuelan people. I fully understand that. But in my opinion, not to be political, when, a country is in a crisis that they are, a pageant isn't the answer. No.
And I agree with you. I understand the need to be politically correct, and I can understand bringing tourism to a country maybe that could financially benefit from it, but I don't really...
I sense, of course.
Yeah, but if the country is struggling as big as it is, I don't think having a bunch of girls there wearing crowns is really the answer, especially when you can't guarantee their safety. At the end of the day, it is just a pageant. So I can understand that, but it must have been a super difficult decision, as you said.
Yeah, it was.
But then Holly did her thing, and now you have another sash.
She is a woman of wonders, and honestly, I know Freya and Emma will back me up on this. I don't think we'll get a better director because of how supportive she's been. And I know everyone's going to come on here and say, oh yeah, my director is amazing. She does everything for me. Of course, but I genuinely mean it when I say this, that Holly has been absolutely incredible with us. And we're all three of us are so grateful for her, for everything she's done, because she's really listened to us and understood and agreed with us. And we were lucky on that sense that we had a director that was agreeing with us and on the same page, and actually, was really, really concerned about our safety and was putting our safety before a potential crown. But like I said, she did her magic, and she basically said that, if she could, she would send us to another international. But we all basically had to find one that we were all... that we
all do, all three of you.
With requirements, Freya's, aging out of some pageants, unfortunately. And it depends whether they don't have an English, Welsh and Scottish delegate, because I wasn't going to go to international without my sister queens. We were in it together, and that's what we always said. We were in it, whether either we all go or none of us go, and that's what we were, because at the end of the day, it's our journey together, and we are sister queens, and we wanted to make sure that however, we would progress would be together. So I think it was Freya, actually. She brought up the idea of Miss Global, and I had heard of it before. It had been one that I had looked into, but just because Holly ran Power Pageant and Grand, it was just a familiar face, and that's why I went there first. And obviously Miss Grand was something that I really, really wanted to do. But now having this sash and this title and the opportunity to go to Miss Global and go to Mexico, I couldn't be happier, because after researching the pageant and really following, especially the current queen and what they've been doing recently, I am so excited, and I am just so happy that we're now going there, because it's like, it's kind of, everything happens for a reason. I really do believe that. As cliche as it sounds, I really do believe that everything happens for a reason. And I feel like we're going to have such an amazing time. And I really do think that it's a pageant that is up and coming. And I think that, I just think, because I've spoken to the current title holder herself, and, you know, girls that have competed in it before, and they've said nothing but positive stuff about it. Right. And I've not heard one bad thing about it. And I am really excited, really excited.
That is quite a history. Just before, I'm going to go to the Facebook questions for a sec, Ash.
I'm really talkative.
No, that's what you need to do. It would be a boring interview if you said nothing. As you can no doubt see, I look like I'm now in heaven because of the sun behind me. So for those of you who don't know, it's 6:15 in the morning and the sun has decided to wake up. So just whilst I roll the blinds down so I don't look like I have a massive halo, I'm going to go to the Facebook questions. And guys, if you have any questions for Ashleigh, put them in the comments below. And we'll start with one from the Queen herself, Joanna Johnson. She has said, "Hey Ashleigh, what is the best thing pageants have taught you?" And whilst you answer that, Ashleigh, I'm going to turn around and roll the blinds down.
Okay. Hi, Joe. The best thing that's taught me is, well, I know that the whole thing, everyone says that, but it genuinely is true. You know, pageants for me has helped me through some extremely difficult times. As Jo, obviously I'm very close with Jo, as she knows herself. Missing Britain especially, it helped me through the loss of my dad, and it gave me a platform to kind of raise awareness of the condition we lost him with, which was sepsis. And I can hand on my heart say that without Miss Teen Great Britain that year, I don't think I'd be here. I genuinely don't, because of how much it affected me, but how the fact that having that title, it allowed me to turn a very negative situation into essentially somehow positive, because I was able to raise awareness of a condition that barely anyone knew about. I didn't even know what sepsis was. I'd never heard of it before, and everyone that I spoke to had never heard of it before.
Right.
Now I'm quite lucky in the sense that now, you know, 3 years on, I'm kind of looked at, oh yeah, that's Ashleigh. Oh, she's a sepsis girl. Because I was the one that helped raise awareness of that in the community. And I actually had, I can't remember how long ago it was. I think it was after I handed over. I actually had a woman message me from the pageant community saying that because of my raising awareness, she actually said that she had sepsis.
Oh wow!
And that she went to the doctors and said, "I think I've got sepsis," because unfortunately, as prevalent as sepsis is, the doctors don't think about it because it's in the back of the mind rather than the forefront. So if you go to the doctor and say, "I've got these symptoms, I think it's sepsis," that's kind of getting the ball rolling already. And that's what she did. And to have that message was like, oh my goodness, like I've actually been able to make a difference here. And whether it was the one person or, you know, hundreds, that one message had meant a lot to me. And that's probably one of the best things that the pageants have done for me, is giving me a platform to raise something that's so close to my heart, and also develop me into the strong person I am today. Because like I said, I wouldn't be here without pageants, because I'd have been I'd have really struggled, really struggled.
Right. So in essence, I mean, it's almost like, or you may actually have saved that woman's life if through raising awareness.
It's crazy when you think of that, because I shared I made a little video. It was for September, which was Sepsis Awareness Month, and I made a little video basically saying what sepsis is, its symptoms. And it didn't go viral in the sense of all these videos, but in the pageant industry, it went viral, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I think absolutely. She saw that video, and that's how she I can't remember her name. I need to try and find the message. Like I said, it was 3 years ago, so whether I'm going to find the message, I don't know. But I remember getting the message and sitting in bed and thinking, oh my goodness, like I've actually done something, if that makes sense. Yeah, Yeah, but yeah, pageants that year were like a lifeline to me. They really were. And again, Holly is for that. Miss Teen Great Britain wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Holly. Miss Teen Great Britain has taught me that year, and that's kind of, I loved pageants from competing in Junior Miss Wild Coast, but my love for pageants was something completely different after Miss Teen Great Britain. It was a different meaning. It was completely different. It wasn't just, oh, I like to dress up on the stage and look nice. And it was completely different. It was much more, it meant much more to me. And yeah, that's the answer to that question.
I can imagine. I mean, you mentioned when you were talking about your pageant history, the different pageants that you've entered. Mm-hmm. You seem to have a pretty high success rate, if I was listening correctly. So the ones you've entered, you've won. Have you ever entered one and not won?
No, but I don't like saying that because it sounds really bad.
No, but I just wanted to clarify. I mean, what do you think? I don't think that there's a secret. I think a lot of it's hard work, and then some of it is being in the right place. But there are a lot of people who work for a lot of years and can't win a title. So how did you manage to go 3 for 3? I mean, it's 4 for 4 technically with global.
Yeah.
But what's the secret to your success?
Obviously working hard. I mean, as a finalist, especially for Miss Teen Great Britain, because as a finalist for Miss Grand, the Power Pageant, I was studying for my exams, so I couldn't do as many appearances and things like that as I would have hoped for. I still won the publicity award for doing the most, but it wasn't the same that I did for Miss Teen Great Britain. So obviously working extremely hard, because it shows that, if you were to win the title, you wouldn't stop, if that makes sense. It wouldn't be the case of, oh, I've won, I'm going to put my crown in my stash in my bag and lock it away and never use it again. It's the fact that you're actually going to use it for something. But for me, one thing that I've always been very strong-minded, if that's the right word, is the fact that I like to take time out. I mean, I'll for this 3 years in between all of these titles, between those 3 years, I've grown as a person. I've researched into the title that I want. I've not gone crown hopping or jumping or whatever
crown chasing.
Yeah. I've gone for something because it generally is something that I really would like and really passionate about, and something that I'm very that I feel like I could represent. I wouldn't just go for something that just for a crown, if that makes sense. That's why when we chose which international we'd go to other than Grand, that was why it was really important to get the right one for all three of us, which obviously we've been lucky enough to have. So for me, I wouldn't say it's my key to success, because at the end of the day, no matter how many crowns you've won, you can go in and still never win. It's not about, oh, I've got this many titles behind me, I'm always going to win. That's not the case at all. It's just pure luck and pure hard work. And what I would say to everyone, as well as work hard, is to make sure you're doing the pageant for the right reason, and because you are passionate about the title, and you aren't just doing it for a nice crown that you're then going to put in your room and never wear.
Yep, that's absolutely that's absolutely spot on. No, because it's just, I don't think I've ever interviewed anyone who's gone three for three, and I was just listening to your story. It's like, is she not mentioning the ones that she entered in and didn't win? Because that is an amazing story. I can't think of anyone who's gone 3 from 3. I mean, you're batting at 100%. So that's...
I don't advertise it because I'm a very humble person, and I don't want to go around thinking, oh, I've won everything. No, that's not me. I don't want to be known as the girl that thinks she's going to win everything, because I don't. I just work hard. I'm passionate about whatever I go for, and I'm me.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now, we've got your teammates watching.
I've not got the comments up. I'll have to get it up so I can see.
From the looks of it, I can actually show you if Okay, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to change our screen so that you can see the comments.
If you can't, I've got them up here. I've managed to get them up now.
Let us see that. Can you see them now on our screen? They're really small.
Yeah, I'll just
they're really small.
I'll let because they're really small and I've got really bad eyesight.
Okay, let me just switch us back to here. Sorry guys, got a bit of tinkering around. So we have, so obviously Joanna Johnson is watching, Freya is on, a lot of familiar faces. Louise is, Lauren Parkinson's mum is on, Lauren herself is on, Kelsey is on. Freya has said, Adrian, you've disappeared. I'm assuming that was a light, Freya, sorry. So hopefully you guys can see me now. Emma Louise Jane is on, and we set up an interview with her as well. And Freya has asked, here's a question to Scott, my wee question. My wee question is, have you managed to find a box for your national costume? Not have you found your national costume, have you managed to find a box? Is it big, is it? National costumes are the worst to try and take. I've seen people go with giant sticks, giant twigs, LED lights and a set of wings. Is that what we're talking about here?
It is extremely big. And no, I haven't found a box yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't. I don't. But however, I did put in. Lauren Parkinson has run an advice and positive group for pageant girls on Facebook, and I put in there, please, can someone help me? Like, give me some advice, please. And Sharon actually said that she made her box out of floor material. And I don't know how she did it, but it was like a little... Did you...
Floor material?
It's like an art folder.
Yes.
Like, it's really big and it's got a handle. Like, she managed to make this carry-on box sort of thing from floor material. So I messaged, I saw it today and I messaged Josh, my boyfriend, and I said, okay, Josh, this is our little DIY sort of next...
a little project.
So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try Sharon's advice. If that doesn't work, then I'm back to square one.
How big a box do you need? It almost seems like we're trying to organize a coffin or something. I mean, is it the size of you and it won't collapse?
Yay bit. Oh, you can't see me. I'm not on the screen. Well, it's too big for the screen.
All right.
Go home. That's the way I say.
Out of all the bits that people have struggled to take internationally, I think it's national costumes that have caused the most grief because they're always the giant spectacular ones. And a lot of the girls from Australia have gone as birds because of national birds, so they've gone with wings. And they've tried to take them on carry-ons and they've got wires in it, so it sets off the metal detectors. It's
oh my gosh!
So
I didn't think of that. Oh,
does it have metal in it? Does yours have metal in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll set off metal detectors. So you can probably take it on, but you just got to make
problems for me now.
you just got to make sure. Hey, better I bring it up now than you find out at the gate, right?
Of course, definitely.
You just got to make sure they don't consider it like a dangerous weapon because then they won't let you take it, especially if you've got to fly through the United States to get to Mexico because they're obviously the biggest on security. So
I think
you've got
I think we fly from, if I'm right, I think we're going to be flying from Manchester to then go to Amsterdam to then get the flight from Amsterdam to Mexico. That's what we've not booked the flights, and we won't book them till near on the time, but I've been looking on like Skyscanner and seeing the normal routes, and that's the normal route that the majority of their airlines use.
Perfect. Okay. Well, it sounds like you've got some packing dilemmas to take care of. So, guys, if you have any questions for Ashleigh, as I said, put them in the comments below. So, Priya's watching. Megan, you can.
I'm sorry.
Priya has said, "Babe, that ain't fitting in the cabin. Definitely going on as hold." Yeah, from the sounds of it, you'll have to check it in, which means then the wire thing is not a problem. So. If there's anyone watching or listening who can help Ashleigh with her packing dilemma, please let her know.
Please message me. To be fair, it has gone to another it has been seen on a stage before. It has gone to another pageant, so I know that it is doable. But the lady that I bought it off, the box that she transported it in kind of fell apart on the way back, so she no longer has the box. So this is the problem.
Just replicate her box then.
I think it was just a cardboard box from a TV, but I don't have a TV that big.
Okay.
I don't know how much you think I earn, but I can't be affording TVs the same size as my national costume.
When you, if you do need boxes in Australia, I would tell you to go to a removalist store. People who do a lot of moving, like moving house stuff, they always have sort of custom boxes. So they should be able to find something for you. Okay, well, I feel like we have Joanna Johnson has said, I want to see it. I'm assuming, Joanna, you mean the costume and not the box. I can't.
I swear I've shown it. I might not have shown it.
I'm sure she can. It's not a secret. You've worn it on stage before? I
haven't.
You haven't, right.
Someone else has, just because I'm very bad creative-wise. And I fell in love with this national costume when it's on stage a few years ago. And I remember seeing it and thinking, oh my goodness, if I was ever at international, I would love something like that. So, yeah. The rest is history.
So, guys, if you have any solutions for the packing dilemma, let Ashleigh know. Ashleigh, I was in the middle of asking you about acne. I saw the Instagram photo. I think you just put up probably your most recent one. And
yeah,
you can see,
yeah.
So it's not just it's not just one or two pimples we're talking about. It's a big deal. Why did you decide to, I guess, be public about it, which is a very brave thing, because in your position, you could easily just hide it. So why did it become a big issue for you?
I've suffered with acne since I can remember, since being a teenager, and it's always just been spots. And then the last 12 to 18 months, it's gotten a lot worse. I've been to the doctors, I've tried numerous things, numerous creams, numerous potions, and I'm the type of person that if I have a headache, I don't like taking painkillers. Like, I don't know what it is, I just don't like taking it.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just let it ride and just kind of, I don't like taking medication. I've just always been the same.
Yeah.
I'd rather find a natural remedy or just kind of pray that it goes away. So obviously the doctors gave me everything and then put me on antibiotics from the doctors, and I was on them for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I just didn't want to take them anymore. So I tried everything that I possibly could, every product, every facial, everything, and then it just got even worse. And then I think it was around 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, as you've seen, I'm very active with my gym posts on my Instagram page. And I was filming with my PT, and I actually got a message off a troll saying, I can't remember what it was because it came up my lock screen, and I just deleted and blocked them. So I didn't even open the message. But you know, on your lock screen, you can see the start of the message.
Yep.
Said something like, look at the state of your skin. Then it went on to say something, I don't know. I just deleted it. And that sort of comment, they don't normally affect me. Like, I'm very lucky in the sense that I don't really get trolled. Touch wood. Now I've said that.
Touch wood. I love it.
Yeah, but even so, like, I've always been quite thick-skinned. I've always had really supportive family, friends, boyfriend. I've always had someone really supportive. So if anything like that, if I ever got anything like that, I kind of just ignored it. But this one, it really affected me. Really, really affected me. And I just broke down. I broke down, and the past couple of weeks I've really, really struggled. Really struggled mentally. I've not been in a good place. I'm going to be completely honest. And I thought I need to do something about this because this isn't me. I'm normally a very positive person. Yeah. I'm normally someone that helps other people rather than gets help. So I thought, you know what, I need to do something about this. So I went back to the doctor and I said, I need to go to a dermatologist. I need to go on Roaccutane. I've heard of Roaccutane before, but I know how potent and how strong it is and how severe the medication is because of how bad the side effects are. So obviously with me not even liking taking normal painkillers, that was something that I've never really considered because it's not something that I'd want to do.
Of course.
But it was kind of a last resort, and I thought, you know what, I've spoken to a lot of people. Obviously, Lauren's recently been on it, a really close friend of mine, and I've spoken to her about it previously, and she said, as bad as it was at the time, she wouldn't look back because of how amazing her skin is now.
Right.
And I thought, you know what, I need to give it a go. So I went to a dermatologist, and because I'd had acne for so many years and already tried everything, they were like, yeah, we'll put you on it. It's not a problem. So I had to have blood tests done to make sure certain levels, it was like enzyme levels, your liver, and lots of other different things were the correct level to then go on this medication. So I've been on it for a week. And yeah, to be fair, weirdly enough, my skin has calmed down. But it's meant to get worse before it gets better. It's quite weird.
Right.
So my skin's calmed down, but the spots that I now have, they're very sore. They're more like cysts, if that makes sense. Yeah. So the amount of spots I have has gone, but the type of them has changed, which is what happens on Roaccutane.
Right.
And my skin's gone increasingly dry. Like my skin's really flaky. My lips are really chapped. I'm constantly having to put Vaseline and Carmex on. And that's all within a week. So that just shows how quickly that you can react to them.
Yeah.
But I went public about it because I've always been, I mean, although I suffer with my skin, I've always been someone that goes out without makeup on. I mean, yeah, my skin affects me, but it still won't stop me from going out with no makeup on. I mean, going out with no makeup on, I mean pops in the shops. I don't mean going for like, you know, a meal, which I actually did the other night with my friends to kind of as a point to it was really lovely. Me and a group of my best friends, we went for a meal and we all had no makeup on, and it was the day before I started Roaccutane, and it was just kind of something for me to just, I don't know, it was just something that I really wanted to do, and they were really supportive. And it was great. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So I'm always on like my Instagram stories with no makeup on. I don't ever post with no makeup though, if that makes sense. Yeah. My posts are all very posed. They're always face full of makeup. They're always, you know, how people, I guess, expect in a way.
Call it a highlight reel. It's never reality. There's Instagram and then there's reality, as they say.
Exactly. And that was kind of something that I thought, you know what, because I really want to kind of challenge and change, because when I was open about getting this message off this troll, and the amount, I've never had so many messages from something ever. I don't think I even managed to reply to all of them. I got that much saying, you know, you're an inspiration going on, because I took a picture of my face and I said, this is me. Yeah. And the amount of messages that people had saying, oh my goodness, my skin's like yours and I would never have done this. Thank you so much. You've given me, like, it's crazy the amount of people that message me saying I've helped them just by putting a picture on, which to me is really bizarre, because I thought I'm just Ashleigh from little old Blackpool that doesn't really, I don't see myself as someone that can influence someone. Right. Yeah, I've got a couple of thousand followers on Instagram, but to me that doesn't mean anything. Right. You know, I work with companies, but I wouldn't class myself as a blogger as such. I just do it as a hobby, something that I enjoy. So to actually use my platform again to do something good and kind of help other people has helped me as well. Sure. I mean, so obviously, like I said, I've been on my Roaccutane for a week now, and I really wanted to post a picture on my feed without makeup on, because like I said, I would never have done that. And the response to that post, like, I posted it and within half an hour I was crying, but because I was happy. I'd just done my makeup and I was crying, and I was like, I don't know why I'm crying, but I'm just so happy because of how supportive people have been, and how many people. I think it's been up for 3 hours, and again, the amount of people that have reached out to me and said, this is unbelievable. Like, more people need to show that Instagram isn't real life, social media isn't real life, because it isn't. It really isn't. As many people would like to believe it is, it's not. And the more people are honest about that, and the more people are open about that, I feel like a lot of people would struggle less to have to live up to these expectations and you know, have these fancy clothes and to look a certain way. And I mean, my photos on Instagram, I don't look like that all the time. I look like that 10% of the time when I took the picture. Yep. I don't go to work with makeup on. I don't know. I enjoy being comfortable and I enjoy being me rather than going around with a face full of makeup on, but that's just me. And
Sure.
but that is real life. That's the real me, not this person that's on Instagram. I'm kind of contradicting myself in a way because I shouldn't do that, but it's different because I don't want to constantly be posting pictures with no makeup on, if that's what I mean. I've done it to kind of say, this isn't this, this is how I am most of the time. So don't you then feel like you have to hide yourself. And if you've got problems, if you're struggling, speak out and, you're not alone.
Yeah, I think it's about everyone finding out what they're comfortable with and also just taking everything with that little grain of salt to realize that someone might look absolutely fantastic lounging on a beach in some tropical paradise, but they just look like that for that one second or one photo. It may have literally straight after.
It takes a lot of pictures to get that one photo, trust me. I mean, I've just been away with Josh and I think he's on the live stream. He will vouch for how many pictures he has to take to get that one picture. It's not easy and people think, oh my goodness, how does she just look like that? With anyone, with celebrities, with other influencers, and it's like, there's a lot more behind the scenes and it's not all what it looks like.
Roughly, can you give us an idea as to how many photos he has to take to get the one that goes on the gram?
To be fair, he's really good. He really like he knows how I like my pictures, if that makes sense. So if I've done something different, I'll be like, Ashley, just move that way a bit. Like, he's really good. He is really good. And, I really do appreciate everything he does for me because, he really helps me. As well as everyone else, my friends.
Have you heard the term Insta hubby? That's what we call them. There's some really funny photos of Insta hubbies taking photos of their wives or their girlfriends and the different angles that they need to be at to get the perfect photo. Sometimes they're standing on the top of a pole, sometimes they're down at the bottom of a waterfall.
Oh no, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. Luckily, Josh is quite tall, so yeah.
I'm glad to hear.
He just needs sun.
Jade Hall has said, "You're beautiful, lovely." So,
thank you.
Guys, if you have any final questions for Ashleigh, put them in the questions. Otherwise, I'm going to take her through our final 10. Ash, just before we go through the final 10, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to? I'm sure there must be, but anyone you want to give a shout out to just for supporting you, not just with pageantry, obviously, but in life as well, just in general?
In honesty, everyone, because there's been that many people that have reached out to me. Obviously, my family, my friends, Josh, everyone's been amazing. And I wouldn't be the person I am today without all of them. But even strangers just reaching out to you, it's crazy the amount it actually does mean to you, because it means a lot for a stranger to click on a button and make the effort to type out a message to someone they don't know.
Yeah.
It's literally everyone.
Yeah.
Because again, I wouldn't be the person I am without that support.
Yeah. I should ask you as well, I didn't get a chance to ask you earlier. Obviously, you're going to Mexico in January. Do you have any, I guess, what are you most looking forward to? But also, do you have any expectations as to how you'll go over there? Are you the sort of person who wants to get to attain a certain placing, or are you just there focused on yourself to do the best that you can do?
In all honesty, because every single pageant that I've done, I've aged up. I've been a junior, I've been a teen, and now I'm a miss, and now I'm going to an international. Every pageant that I've done is one step up, and I'm going to global purely with a sense of, like I said, to enjoy myself. And obviously it would be amazing to place, of course, but it's more of an achievement getting there for me than it is for anything else. I mean, I know Freya was mentioning in the other live stream that I'm adamant that I really want the fitness award because of how much I do train. And that would be the one. If I didn't get anything else, I would love the fitness award because, everyone knows how much I literally, I say I've been in the gym, I've not been this week. This week I have been slacking. But normally I do live in the gym and a lot of people know how hard I work on health and fitness. So that was something that I would love, if anything. But no, I'm going with the sense that I want to enjoy myself. Like I said, it's the first ever international I've been to. It's the first time being a miss. Yeah. And I want to embrace that because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Who wouldn't?
Of course. I have to ask you about the health and fitness. So is it born into you to love the health and fitness? Or is that something that you picked up along the way? Where did that come from?
To be fair, I've always been relatively sporty. Since I was young, I've always been, whether it's been netball, swimming, cheerleading, gymnastics, athletics, I've always been quite an athletic person. And then, I don't know, I just kind of, since being, especially with uni, going to the gym and exercising really helps with like stress breaks, if that makes sense, and helps me. And I just kind of fell in love with it then, and it's just something that's naturally come to me, really.
Yeah. I mean,
I've always been the one to sport over, I don't know, I'm more of a sporty person than I am creative. Like, if you put a pen and paper in front of me and tell me to draw a picture, I draw a stick man.
Yeah, same.
But if you give me some figures and give me some weights, then I'd be fine.
I do love the fact that so many of your photos, I think almost all your photos in the gym are with weights, because I love to see that the girls are not afraid to, because probably, I don't know if it's as much now, it's definitely changing, but a few years ago, girls were actually very afraid to do weights because they thought it would make them look big or look like a man. I'm really glad that has changed, like super, super glad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my PT, John Thompson, will vouch for this. I hate cardio.
Oh, me too.
Like, he will have to force me to go on the treadmill and run.
Oh, the treadmill is hell on earth. I can't.
Isn't it?
It's like being a hamster in a hamster wheel. You just he just keeps going and going and going. There's nothing to look at. It's horrible.
I would much prefer to lift double the weight than go 10 minutes on a treadmill. Yeah. But I've always been, because I've always been quite athletic. I've always been quite muscly. Mm-hmm. But muscly is healthy. Yeah. To me anyway. And like you, I think it's brilliant that a lot of women now are recognising that and not being scared to add a bit of,
muscle,
more meat to them, so to speak, with muscle and developing themselves that way, rather than wanting to be the skinniest person in the room and running 5 hours on the treadmill. Because it's good to have a variety. I say I don't like going on the treadmill. I do still go on it, but I don't like it. But it's good to have a variety.
You got to get some cardio in.
Yeah, you do, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah, well, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one out there that does not like the treadmill. But like yourself, I make myself go on it because I know sometimes I have to. Okay, so Freya has said Fitness Award, Miss Fitness Queen. Is it going to be like a challenge? Is it going to be like a fitness competition? How do you win? Do you know?
I don't know, in all honesty. We're still waiting for some details. I don't know whether it's just judged through bikini. Right. I mean, with the Power Pageant, I was lucky enough to win. I was looking at their certificates up there, the Beach Body Award, and that was done through the bikini round, the swimwear round. So I don't know whether it's the same for global. I'm not too sure. They've not released that sort of information yet.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go through the final 10. And guys watching, if you have any final questions for Ashleigh before I let her go, put them in the comments now. But Ashleigh, number 1, what is your favourite word?
I'm obsessed with the word fabulous. Like, I say it with anything, and I don't know why, but I just think, oh, it's fabulous. I don't know. But like literally, someone will say to me, oh, it's sunny outside, and I'll be like, oh, fabulous. Everyone's just got that word that they just reply to everything with. Mine's just fabulous.
That is since I've started doing more UK interviews, that word has come up quite a lot. It's definitely a UK thing with that inflection, fabulous. Okay, so...
Well, it might have been something picked up through pageantry, I don't know. But I always end up finding myself saying it.
I think it might be a pageantry thing, but I think it's specifically a UK pageantry thing because I've not heard it once in Australia. So it's definitely a UK thing as well. Well, what is your least favourite word?
No.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Any particular reason, or you just don't like being told? No.
No, I'm joking. No, this is going to sound really cliche, but it's not a word. My least favourite word is I can't. Like, I can't do it, because you need to change your mindset.
Yep.
It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind.
Yep. Question 3. In life, what gets you excited? What turns you on?
My future. That's what gets me excited. Like, that's what I look forward to, my future, and see where I'm going to be in 10 years' time compared to where I am now. I mean, if I was, if you were speaking to me 5 years ago and would say I'd be where I am now, I'd be like, really? That's what gets me. Like, I'm excited for the future.
Are you someone who likes to plan in detail, or do you more have a general direction in which you're heading?
I'm a nightmare for planning. I have to know everything in and out. I am a bit of an organisation freak.
How far out have you planned?
What do you mean? What
Have you planned out what you're going to be doing in 5 years' time, or 10 years' time, or 20 years' time?
No, not in the sense. I have an idea of where I want to be.
Right.
Which obviously I really want to join the police force. That's something that I've wanted to do since I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I like to be organised in the sense that my diary's full and I stick to my diary.
Okay. Well, what turns you off?
What I'm not excited about. I don't know. I can't think of that one.
If you come up with an answer, we'll circle back to it. Okay, let's keep moving, and then you can keep that one in the back of your head. Let's go on to question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
Sound I love? The kitchen timer, so when the food's ready.
That's a good answer. What sort of sound does it make?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like a little twisty thing with a timer, and it just goes like beep beep.
Okay, food time. That's because obviously you were Miss Grand England. I mean, you still are. The current Miss Grand Australia, I interviewed her over a year ago, and she actually had the same answer as you. I asked her what her favourite sound was, and she said it was food. So the sound of food.
Oh, is it Taylor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to her. She's lovely, isn't she?
She is. She said food. I mean, what do you mean food? And she said, Uber Eats arriving, the notifications, all those things.
Yeah, that's what it is. I get excited about food.
Yeah, so I can understand. That's not the first time I've heard that answer. Well, question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
My alarm. 100% my alarm. When my alarm goes off, I want to throw my phone out the window.
What sound does your alarm make? What tone do you have it set to?
Just the basic Apple one.
What time do you have it set for?
For anything.
What time do you have it set for? Just out of curiosity.
I normally get up it depends if I've got work. I mean, if I've got work at 8, I'll leave the house at like 7:15, so I'll set the alarm for like 6:30.
Right. Okay.
So quite early.
That's quite.
I mean, I always get up. I'm not someone to sleep in a lot. I never sleep in really, but I like waking up on my own rather than being woken up by my alarm.
Yeah. I hear.
So when I am disturbed in that sense, I'm like, go away.
Joanna Johnson has said she's too organised for my liking. Makes me look even more unorganised. I didn't know you were disorganised, Joanna.
We'll say something like, oh yeah, do you want to go to an event we'll be in the car, for example, and I'll say, oh, do you want to go to an event on the 16th of December? When I was asking that was January. She's like, yeah, of course. And then I'll text her like 4 weeks before the 16th of December going, oh, we're going to this event. And she's like, what event? Well, on January the 1st, we said we were going to the event on the 16th of December.
Joanna, do you need a diary or something, or maybe you need a personal assistant to help you manage your schedule? Okay, question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
I'd be a time traveller.
A what?
Like to travel through time.
A time traveller. I thought you said a town traveller. I said that's not very interesting. A time traveller.
A time traveller, yeah. Because, like I said, I'm excited for the future. I'd love to know, like not just where I'll be in 10 years, but like even with like technology, like I'd love to just see how far that's going to be in 10 years' time. That's what I would be. That's quite a boring answer. That is such a boring answer. For any superpower you could be, I'd be a time traveler. Oh, just ignore me.
The power itself is not boring. It's more what you want to do with it. Because there's a lot of things you can do with time traveling. I mean, you could go backwards and see the dinosaurs. You could go 10,000 years into the future. You could what?
Predict that I know what the lottery draws are.
Exactly.
And I could win the lottery.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you see. So
my claim to fame.
With great power comes great responsibility. Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Obviously, like I said, I do want to join the police, but one thing that I would love to do if I wasn't going the police would be a forensic psychologist. They're still working. I know it sounds really random, but I always like whether it was I really enjoyed law and psychology at college, and they were like my options.
Right.
Like I would either go in the police or forensic psychology, but I went down the law option. So that's what I would be. Again, that's such a boring answer, but
No, I'm not laughing because it's a random answer. That actually, weirdly enough, is the most common answer I've been given.
Really?
It's the weirdest thing. The number of pageant girls who are obsessed with crime or criminal psychology and specifically forensics. I think you're the 4th person who's told me that would be their dream job, is like some sort of forensic psychologist. I don't know what it means about all of you, but you're all fascinated with death.
If you looked at my Netflix, like the Watch channel, I think you'd be a bit concerned.
Well,
with how many crime documentaries I watch.
That too. And Joanna Johnson, we're having a joke about her being a serial killer. She loves watching, I think it was Dexter. Lauren Parkinson also watches Dexter. So there's something going on with you pageant girls and death. I don't know what it is. I guess you got to fill up your spare time with something. Okay, question 9. What job or occupation other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
I wouldn't like to be one of those people that work in the creepy crawly section of a zoo, because I don't like creepy crawlies.
Do zoos have creepy? You mean like spiders and stuff? And
yeah, not for me.
Oh, that's right. You don't like spiders, do you?
No, I'm petrified. I'm genuinely petrified.
What do you do?
It's making me. It's just a thought.
So, if there was a spider in your room right now, what would you do?
I'd scream the house down, and my mum and my brother asked to get out. And I've done that plenty of times. Like I've screamed, and they've come running down the stairs, thinking something's happened, and I'm like, "There's a spider. Please can get it out," and it's like that big.
Okay. I'll need to show you some real spiders then. Did you? I don't know. This has been a bit of a thing ongoing, but I don't know if you saw it. Did you see my post about spider coffee?
No.
No. So in the office where I see how you go with this. I don't mind spiders, but I don't want them crawling on my face. Obviously, I was boiling some water here to make instant coffee, and I made the instant coffee, drunk it, got all the way to the end. I go out there to put my mug in the sink, and there's a dead spider in the bottom of it, with its legs gone like this because it's dead.
Oh.
I have never been that close to crying in my life. I'd seen it going around before, but it had crawled into the kettle. Obviously, I didn't know, and I'd boiled it, killed it, felt horrible about that. And then it had gone into my instant coffee, and because it's brown and the coffee was brown, I didn't see it. So the whole time I'd been drinking it, the spider had been...
That actually makes me feel a bit sick.
Make you feel a bit sick? How do you think I felt?
I don't know what I would have done if I was in your position.
Well, I almost cried. Luckily, there was no one here in the office, but it was life-changing experience.
I'm checking the floors now to see if there's like any spiders.
Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What a life you've lived. That's what I would be.
Hopefully a long and very organized life from the sounds of it. Perfect. Okay, well, Ashleigh, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And best of luck over in Mexico in January. Obviously, I've interviewed Freya, interviewed you now, and Emma has booked in. I mean, you were just finishing up your study. She was finishing up her dissertation as well, which sounded
Yeah, she's been working non-stop, bless her.
all kinds of awful, but I'll be interviewing her as well. And I think I'm just trying to remember time zones, but I'm interviewing Holly Perry, I think tomorrow or in a couple of days.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing it on your little timeline.
Yeah. So thank you for your time. I'm going to thank everyone for watching. And actually, I'll keep you on for just a second. I'll let the audience go. And we'll see you next time.
Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe to get details of our new episodes as they drop. And connect with us on social at The Pageant Project. Speak to you next.